Good evening, everybody! Welcome to round 5 of our 1986 F1 series coming to you from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Cars have completed their qualifying session. Let me run down the top 10 for you as qualifying completed. In pole position, no big surprise, Jules Bouchard with a time of 1:53.988, just underneath 1 minute and 54 seconds. In second, a little more than half of a second back this time, Grant Radal. Third, John Team. Fourth, Gabriel Del Piccolo. Fifth, Juha Boss. Sixth, Ray Radal. Seventh, Tim Hilla. Eighth, Luciano Rocha. Ninth, Richard Coxon. And 10th, Anders Nilsson. That is your top 10 going into this round 5. And the briefing has obviously concluded. Everybody is now heading out onto the track. So, here we are at one of the truly great racing circuits in the world, Spa-Francorchamps. Everyone loves this circuit. It's located in the Ardennes Forest near Belgium. It's a pleasure to drive this circuit in any car, 7 kilometers around. Our drivers will be going for 43 laps today, and they have to negotiate the high-speed dip and rise at Eau Rouge, the sweeping downhill run through Pouhon, and the sudden changes of direction at the bus stop chicane, just to name a few of the challenges on this circuit. It's worth mentioning to our viewers, some of you may not be aware, this is the second generation of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, a shortened version of the original 15-kilometer layout. When that circuit was considered too dangerous, the Belgian Grand Prix was moved to other venues, most notably Nivelles and Zolder. It returned to Spa when the new circuit was completed, and since then, this course has been praised for adapting to the needs of modern Grand Prix cars, while at the same time maintaining a link with the sport's rich history, and that's very hard to do. The Nürburgring tried to do that with their new circuit, and it didn't work out. It pretty much sat in the shadow of the old 14-mile Nürburgring, but this is an excellent compromise between old and new, this Spa circuit. So let's go out on the track right now and have a look at what's going on. Watching some of the drivers here. There's Dave Miller, who's driving for the Minardi team today. And you notice some of the houses around here. Some of these are indeed public roads. But the challenge of Spa is one that is of both high speed and technical brilliance. If you can hit the apexes just right, hit the corners right. Oh, there's K.O. McKeel's having an off-core excursion there. But this is a circuit that's very demanding, as we see one driver there for the Haas team, I believe, attempting to start. Just to get familiarized with starting for this Belgian Grand Prix. So let's see if we can find somebody here who is about to complete a lap. And then we can go for a... here we go. Here is Michael Drexler. We'll go with him. So Michael Drexler starting a lap here at Spa. Heading into La Source hairpin, which is immediately after the start-finish. Now heading downhill, going through the gears, flat out, heading down to one of the most diabolical corners in all of motorsport, Eau Rouge. A left-right flick, and you go from going downhill to uphill through Radion, and he nailed it perfectly there, but that is very, very difficult to do. It takes skill to get through there, not only unscathed, but at high speed. Now heading down this long straightaway, where the circuit will now leave the old and join the new portion. Oops, he makes a slight error there. This is Les Combes, a right and left-hand corner that takes us onto the new road, the new portion of the circuit. Now into Malmedy, which is a right-hander. Now we're heading downhill into another hairpin, not as tight as La Source, but a kind of a 180, not a 360. Now heading further downhill, and this is kind of a sweeping downhill section that gets progressively faster through the Pouhon section, which is a fun section to drive if your car is handling properly. See how it gets progressively faster. Now we come to a right-left section that's a little bit slower. Have to downshift for this one. Right. He's got a bit of twitch there in that Tyrrell. Back to the left. Oh my goodness, man. He better get that under control for the race. He's letting that other car by. That is Jonatan heading by just on the inside. Hugs the right-hand side of the corner. And at Blanchiment, we rejoin the old circuit. Now, there's one of these left-handers that's particularly tight, but you can take it at a good speed if you have it just right. It's this one right here, and he handles it very well. Now coming down to what is called the bus stop chicane. Downshifting, left, right, very slow, and the exit of the bus stop chicane is a little bit faster than the entry. Right, left, back onto the start-finish straight, and that is one lap of Spa-Francorchamps. In the hands of Michael Drexler. Nice lap. He had a few close calls there, but that's what the warm-up is for. He's getting used to the car and seeing what he has to do to get the car working properly on full tanks. So he's doing his homework. Let's take a look at the drivers' point standings right now as we go into this race. Jules Bouchard is in the lead with 27 points, and that's on the strength of 3 wins that he has. David Saber is in second place, the only other winner in this series, with 11 points. Then there's a tie between Ray Riddall and Juha Boss, 10 points apiece in third. And then there's a tie for 5th place between Jonatan Åcerclinth and Gabriel Del Piccolo, 9 points apiece. In the constructor standings, John Player, Special Team Lotus, is in first with 31 points. Marlboro McLaren International is in second with 21 points. Scuderia Ferrari in third with 19, so it's pretty tight there for second place. And then you have Motor Racing Developments in fourth with 12 points. And then Benetton Formula enters the top 5 with their points finish in last race, and they have 5 points. We are awaiting the arrival of our color commentator, Alberto Abanez. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at some of the storylines of today's race. And once again, the story in practice the past 2 weeks has been Jules Bouchard and the Lotus Renault. This combination of driver and car is really producing fantastic results. In fact, 3 wins in a row. And if we're to believe the timesheets, possibly 4 wins in a row after today is over. But closing in on Bouchard in terms of pace is the Brabham team of Grant Riddall and Gabriel Del Piccolo. Now, this is a track that definitely will suit the slim and long wheel-based BT55 Brabham. And this race may present the best chance for Riddall and Del Piccolo to overcome Bouchard's dominant form. Well, so far. There are plenty of other races that will suit the Brabham as well. So the question is going to be, what kind of tactical choices will the Brabham team use to try to get their first victory of the season here? It's a lot closer than it's been before. When I read off the qualifying, they are only a half a second back from Bouchard. Last race, they were a full second back, so there has been improvement. Or it could just be that the car is more comfortable here. I would tend to think it's a little bit of both. That it's not only improvement in setup and just getting used to the car, but the fact that Spa really does suit these Brabhams. So it's not going to be a walkover for Jules by any means. Just looking here through the... Oh, there's John right there. Let's see if I can grab him. Yeah, there's John. Another driver still putting up a strong showing in lap times is John Team. He's on your screen right now. In the Ligier Renault, now despite the obvious pace of this car and driver, Team has only scored 4 points so far. That was at Rio at the start of the season, and since then he hasn't been able to do much. And his teammate, Oscar, it's a family affair, the Ligier team, he has had more than his share of bad luck so far. Monaco is a race that Oscar Team would very much like to forget coming into this race. I believe he started from the pit lane there, and after that he was unwittingly involved in an accident with Keo McKeels. So it hasn't been a lot of fun at Ligier, even though the promise is there. So they've got to do something to right the ship and get the quality of drives that they know they can get out of this car. It is a good car. It's not as good as the Lotus Renault, but it's good. It's quick, and if things go wrong for Lotus or for Brabham, they should be there to pick up the crumbs from the table. So, oh my goodness, it looks like somebody had a big off here as John is coming through the start-finish area. In any case, the car is definitely capable of more than what it's put up so far in 4 points. So we'll be keeping an eye on John, as it were. And of course, there are other drivers that we cannot count out. One mainly that I would mention is David Saber. He's the only other winner in this series besides Bouchard. He won the opening race of the year at Rio. His thoughts on the race. Qualifying, he says, will be difficult, and he was hoping for a top 10, but thinks that will most likely be starting 10th through 15th, and that bared out in the qualifying, I believe. He thinks that the race pace should be okay again, and overtaking should be possible on the long straights. He thinks that his tires should be okay for one pit stop, and he'll likely start on B tires, but could swap to C, depending how long the Bs will last. Oh my goodness, another big off there. That's a Squadra Course Ocella in the hands of, my goodness, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. In any case, he points out that you have to avoid the curbs here as they can launch the car up in the air, so we'll watch that closely. Fuel usage quite high due to the straights, meaning big lift and coasts at the end of the straights to save fuel. So it's not impossible that we'll see people running out of fuel towards the end of the race. Hopefully not, but definitely David's hoping for some points. Other people's point of view going into this race, Richard Coxon, who drives for Benetton Formula. He says he wishes he had the downforce to make the B and C compounds work. He apparently does not. Forecasts super softs all around for his Benetton. He points out that fuel is also very tight in the BMW engine, and he's hoping for points, but a finish would be nice. Over at the Ferrari stable, Juha Boss says Ferrari has potential, but he hasn't practiced sufficiently in his estimation. Well, we'll see what happens. I know Juha, he's downplaying his chances just a shade. He's likely going to favor super softs as well. Even with a long stop, Juha feels that they should be quicker than the softs for him. Notable absences in this race for round 5. Brian Janik is not here for Zach Speed, and both of the full-time Tyrrell drivers are absent. Jakob Fredriksson and Matthew Sibignani. In their places, we have one-off drives by Bruno Paggiola and Mikael Drexler, and then at the very last minute, Hedison Oliveira is going to be a substitute at Zach Speed. So that gives you an idea of where we are in terms of one-off drives. Of course, there's going to be one-offs as standard for the Ocella Squadra Course team, and we'll have a look at them once we get to the start of the parade lap. We'll see who's in those cars. But you can see on your screen how picturesque this circuit is. Uphill, downhill. It's a beautiful circuit to look at, as well as providing a challenge for these drivers. Really fantastic. Let's see who else is out here. Here's Juha in the Ferrari. And Ferrari's been doing okay so far. I'm sure they'd like to get better results than they've been getting. So far, the pace setters really have been, obviously, Lotus and Brabham. So, in as far as overall speed goes, McLaren is second place in the Drivers' Championship, or sorry, the Constructors' Championship, largely on the success of David Saber in the first race. If we look at the car points, yeah, there they are. They've got 21 points. So it's that win combined with other points paying positions that they've picked up over the course of the season so far. We're only at round 5. It's still early days. Other things to talk about here before we get to the race. Coming up at International Sim Racing Organization, the next round of the 1980 Pro Car Series, and this is going to be at a favorite track of mine, the Åcerclinth. It's always fun to drive the Åcerclinth. High speed and very, very challenging corners, and the very tricky S that they put in after the unfortunate accident of Mark Donohue. So it is a challenging circuit for these pro cars, and it will be certainly fun to watch. That's Sunday, March 26th, and the race starts at 2000 CEST. I want to point that out because that Sunday will be the Sunday that Central European time goes on daylight savings time. So keep that in mind, not only viewers in the North American continent, but in Europe as well. That's going to cause a shift in an hour there. And then the following week, on April 2nd, we return with Formula One for run number 6 of 16 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. It's the Grand Prix Labatt du Canada, April 2nd. That race will also start 2000 CEST. So that gives you an idea of what's coming up here at ISO. A trivia question for you to ponder while we are covering the race. Who won the last Belgian Grand Prix at Spa that was part of the pre-war European Championship? Was it A, Herman Lang, B, Tazio Nuvolari, or was it C, Giuseppe Farina? We'll have the answer later on in the broadcast. So it's a bit odd for me to be here just by myself with nobody to talk to. I'm not entirely sure where Alberto is, hoping that he will show up at some point here, but if I have to do this race sans color commentator, I guess I can do that. We've certainly seen Jonatan Åcerclinth do that in the Pro Car Series, so it is possible. I will do my very best in that case to show you every single piece of action on track. It's easier when you have two people in the booth, as we look at Juha doing some agricultural driving here in the Ferrari. In front of him is his teammate, Jonatan Åcerclinth, with Dave Miller just ahead. And there's a cheering section for Hedison Oliveira in the YouTube chat. Want to welcome everyone who's watching on YouTube. Our YouTube subscriptions are going up. We are almost at 280 now. Oh, I also want to take a moment to thank those of you who sent me birthday wishes this weekend. In particular, Barry Lynn Wilson. Thank you, Barry Lynn, for the greetings and the gift card. Both were extremely thoughtful of you. Thank you very much. That's indicative of the warm and friendly community we've built here at this league. Even people who are here just for the thrill of watching the competition. There is really a lot of warm sentiment around this league, and we love that. But thank you very much. I appreciate the warm wishes from everybody. That bus stop chicane is very critical to get right because it sets up how much speed you have going down to Las Sources. Obviously, the chicane is there to slow people down before they get to La Source. In the original 15-kilometer layout, that chicane was not there. But this part was La Source and heading down to the incredible corner that is Eau Rouge. Taking this corner flat out really separates the great ones from the okay ones through here. And look at that. That is beautiful. Threading the needle beautifully. That is a perfect example of getting Eau Rouge right. The problem is, for the start, that's not the way it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of other cars around you. So negotiating Eau Rouge is going to be harder than that because you might not be in the right spot. So it's going to be a lot of survival tactics, I think, on the lap when these cars are set free. Here's another one-off driver we'll have, Giovanni Centorami, in the Jolly Club AGS. I think that yellow flag there is just for cars exiting the pits. It's just a proximity situation. This car, this AGS car, when driven by the right person, can actually produce good results. We've seen it before. So, even though it's a one-off and it's not the most advanced car in the grid, do not count Giovanni out, because we know that he's a very good driver. And providing that the engine doesn't blow up, he might do well in this race. And here is Mikael Drexler. We watched him earlier, starting a race for Tyrrell. Tyrrell has had a very bad season so far. They haven't scored any points, obviously, and they've also had a lot of DNFs. So we'll see if anything different happens. They've basically they've got two one-off drivers just for this weekend. The full-time drivers, Fredrickson and Sibignani, are still under contract for Tyrrell, so to speak. So, oh my goodness. Well, Drexler, we didn't get to see that because of someone joining the server, but Drexler got the car under control. We'll see what he can do during the race. See if he can get any better results than the drivers that they have at Tyrrell have been able to do. So 1 minute and 30 seconds until the actual start of the race. Here's Oscar Team. He's going to be hoping for some better luck than what he had going on in Monaco. That was really not a good situation for him. There's Jonatan Åcerclinth, who is not starting very far up the grid, I don't think. He didn't have much practice this week, so we'll see what he can do. But he has done well, though, in the past. Remember, he started 24th in one race and finished second. I forget which one that was, but it was an incredible performance. So he may be able to pull another one of those drives out today, starting from the back and heading to the front. Coming down now to the start-finish area, and we very soon here we're going to be heading to a green flag to start the race, so I guess I'm doing this one solo, but that's okay. I welcome the challenge. If I were to put my money on someone in this race, I think this is where the Brabham team's finally going to come through. I have my money on Grant Riddall winning this race. Not that I put any actual money on it. There are no Vegas odds on this race, but I personally would put my bet on Grant if there was such a thing. So there you go. All right, so we're in that lull that happens in between. Oh, there's the siren. So here we go. 43 laps on the board. And there's Jules Bouchard in the garage. He's probably going to wait until the very last minute to get on the grid itself. Waiting for Jules to take his place on the grid. Oh, it looks like we're going back to, apparently someone dropped from the grid, so we're going to do the warm-up once more to give them time to join. Now we're going to try it again. Let's see if we can get an actual start to the race. Sometimes it's, you're dealing with people who are all over the world, So it's not uncommon for something to go wrong, a dropped IP address or whatever, you know. So it's speaking over my outside of my competence, I'm sure. In any case, waiting for Jules to take to the track, and as the parade lap begins, we will go through the full grid for you for this race. I am Jason White, your play-by-play announcer for International Sim Racing Organization, and we're very glad that you could join us for round 5 of this series. 3 wins in a row for Jules Bouchard. Will there be a 4th? We'll know in approximately 43 laps. All right, so cars are now on the grid, and as soon as they start rolling, we'll go through and tell you who these competitors are. And here we are, rolling away on the pole. Jules Bouchard, once again, in his John Player Special Team Lotus. In second, Grant Riddall, Motor Racing Developments. So we've got a face-off. Who's going to make it to La Source first? Then in third, splitting the Brabhams, is John Team, Equipe Ligier. Fourth, Gabriel Del Piccolo, Motor Racing Developments. Fifth, Juha Boss in the first of the Ferraris. Sixth is Ray Riddall, the first of the McLarens. I think I meant sixth. Sixth is Ray Riddall. Seventh is Tim Hilla, Benetton Formula. Eighth, Luciano Rocha, John Player Special Team Lotus. Ninth, Richard Coxon, Benetton Formula. 10th, Anders Nilsson, Team Haas USA. We're still seeing remarkable performances from this car that in actual history wasn't that good. 11th, Bruno Paggiola, Data General Team Tyrrell. That is a remarkable performance, considering the bad luck that Tyrrell has had so far this year. So keep an eye on Bruno. 12th, David Saber, Marlboro McLaren International. 13th, Jonatan Åcerclinth, Scuderia Ferrari. 14th, K.O. McKeels, Cannon Williams Honda Team. 15th, Oscar Team, who's in the garage. Does this mean he's going to, at best, it means he'll start from the pit lane again. This will be the second race in succession where Oscar has started from the pit lane. Damir Karatko, is in 16th, Barclay Arrows BMW. 17th, Giovanni Centorami, Jolly Club AGS. 18th, Dave Miller for the Minardi team. 19th, Bruno Chacon, Barclay Arrows BMW. 20th, Alan Santo for the Minardi team. 21st, Mark Whitman for Oscilla Squadra Course. 22nd, Cesarius Slipinski, Team Haas USA. 23rd, Francisco Amaral for Cannon Williams Honda team. 24th, Hedison Oliveira, last-minute substitute for Brian Janik, West Zaxpeed Racing. 25th, Jan Kowalski in the other Oscilla. 26th, Mikael Drexler in the other Data General Team Tyrrell. And that is your grid, 26 cars. Watching Jules Bouchard weave back and forth here, trying to get some heat into the tires. So this is going to be really interesting. Will Jules be able to get to La Source before the Brabhams? The Brabhams launched very well, and those BMW engines are very powerful. Actually, it's really going to be up to Grant here to try to beat Jules into the first turn. We'll see what happens. If you're not careful, you can miss a shift on a start here, and then things really go south fast. But you can see that Jules has slowed the pace right down. He wants to spend as little time on the grid as possible. He doesn't want to overheat that Renault engine. So he's not sprinting to the start, sprinting to his grid slot. Here comes the bus stop chicane. This could produce some overtaking maneuvers, although it's going to be very, very tricky to do so. A little bit of an uphill climb there as you go into the bus stop chicane. And here comes Jules Bouchard into his grid slot, and 43 laps lay ahead for this 26 car grid. Here comes Jules. And you can see Grant really scrubbing those tires, and he wants to get the best start that he can because he knows that this is the best chance that he's got to grab a win. The Brabhams like this track, and by qualifying second, obviously, so does Grant. So the cars are, notice some of them are offset a little bit. Some people are already planning their starts. There's nothing against that in the rules. It's more or less where you're placed forward of the grid slot. There is the flicker. Stand by for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. And the race is underway. Excellent getaway by Grant Riddall, and he takes the lead. There's contact there between Bouchard and Team. Bouchard goes down the inside. My goodness! Oh no! Bouchard is falling down the grid, and also it appears that John Team has lost his front wing. So high drama already on the start of the race, and Åcerclinth is at the end of the pit lane. Is he going to be let go? There he goes slowly, so it looks like he's going to. Oh my goodness, we got further drama. It appears that there's been an accident at Eau Rouge or Radion. Yes, one of the McLarens is missing a front wing, but Grant Riddall is in the lead. Juha Boss has made it up to second. Jules Bouchard on that start dropped to third, and he probably has some kind of damage on that car, because we saw the contact as it occurred. In fourth is Del Piccolo, fifth is Hilla, sixth is Luciano Rocha in the second Lotus, seventh Richard Coxon, eighth Anders Nilsson, and ninth David Saber, and 10th is Jonatan Åcerclinth, who's made a fantastic start. So we'll have to watch this very carefully, but my goodness, already high drama at the start, a collision at La Source, which is not all that uncommon. We've seen that in the past. But this is exactly the kind of start that Grant Riddall wanted. He got away quickly, but he did have contact there on the start with Jules as he tried to go down the inside. So there could be damage on these cars. We'll have to watch and see what happens. But here comes Grant down to complete lap number 1, heading for the bus stop chicane. His car looks like he's in good shape. Yes, as David Yunt points out on the YouTube chat, it is lap 1. Why is everybody trying to win it on lap 1? In any case, Bouchard seems to be going all right. Then there's a big gaggle of cars. Hilla, Del Piccolo, Rocha, who goes up the inside of Del Piccolo and takes the position. And Paggiola still soldiering on there. In 11th place, Mark Whitman misses the chicane entirely. So we'll have to see what happens as they come down to the fastest and most diabolical of turns here. Eau Rouge, Radion. And now heading towards Lake Home is Grant Riddall. There's the confirmation that we are indeed on board with Grant Riddall as he heads into Lake Home. Riddall leads, Boss in second. Here they come. And there's Tim Hill in fourth, Rocha fifth, Saber sixth, seventh is Richard Coxon, eighth Del Piccolo, ninth K.O. McKeels, and 10th is Anders Nilsson. So Grant's got an excellent lead already. He's got a 2.9, almost a 3-second lead now on Juha. So it's a dream start for him. The question is, can Jules make up the distance that he's lost here on the start? It appears that his car is in good trim. He doesn't appear to have any problems, but he's now sizing up Juha Boss. Now heading into the very, very, very tight but fast left-hander right here. This is the one that gets a lot of people crossed up. Here comes Juha into the bus stop chicane. You can see Grant just ahead of them there. So as Jules is hanging with Juha here, we may see him make a bid for second place. But Juha is driving good here. As usual, Juha downplays his abilities going into the race. He's a very talented driver. And now, on the run down to Eau Rouge, we'll see what happens here. Jules Bouchard looking to take second place and try to catch back up to the leader, Grant Riddall, through Eau Rouge. Backed off a little bit there. The car gets light as you go through Radillon. And look at the Ferrari pull away there on the straight. So clearly Juha's got some horsepower at his disposal as they go through Les Combes and now into Malmedy. So it's going to take a little bit more effort, I think, from Jules to take that position. Meanwhile, we've got some really interesting stuff going on back here. Here's David Saber, the Brazilian Grand Prix winner, and he is sandwiched between the Tim Hilla and the second Lotus in the hands of Luciano Rocha. There's Tim Hilla just ahead of David. So I'd say David's doing a lot better here than he expected based on his pre-race comments. We'll see what he's able to do. Oh, hang on one second. I am joined in the booth by Jonatan Åcerclinth. Jonatan, are you out of the race already?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Down at the place where Johan Co is coming up now, I had to go down to second instead of third because I was in the middle of the train. I just broke loose a tad bit. I counter-steered the car, ended up on the curbing, and the curbing just pulled me to the left off the road, and unfortunately there's a tire stack at the end of the arm as the corner starts, and I was along the arm cone and couldn't turn off because the gravel is very bumpy, and took the front left wheel off, and that's that.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Jonatan, because this is a fun race to drive, and it's a shame for you to be out of it so soon. It's really too bad. We're
driving with a migraine is not nice either. So.
Oh goodness, I wasn't aware that you had one. I apologize. I know what those feel like. They're not fun. So at least you can take some time and nurse your head and get it back to a healthy state. But that probably didn't. There's probably part of you that's relieved you're not driving now.
I'm just straight up disappointed. That should have been a good race. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Lack of time to practice and the migraine didn't help. So one of those things. Sadly, that's two of my drop scores already out from my own mistakes rather than the engine going. So.
Well, you still have there's still plenty of races to go in the calendar year, and you're I believe when we looked at the points chart, you're tied for 5th right now with 9 points. So I mean, a lot can happen. Indeed, we're watching the race now, and Bouchard did not get the start that he wanted. He had actually a collision, not enough to do much damage to the car, but it resulted in Grant Riddall taking the lead here. So we have finally the Brabham BT55 showing the promise that we thought it would. But here now, Juha is your teammate is under attack from Bouchard. Bouchard wants to get back up there and try to get in the lead again. But Juha's doing an excellent job of holding him off here.
He has done a lot of practice, so he knows exactly what the car gives him. So I expect him to, as long as the fuel and engine lasts, he'll have a good race here.
Well, here comes Jules. They're going through the high-speed section that leads to the bus stop. I don't expect you to stay with us, Jonatan, if you're not feeling well.
I'll give it a go. If it gets too bad, I'll drop off.
Well, only if you want to. I'm capable of covering this race by myself. If you don't feel good, by all means, go ahead and lie down and do what you need to do. Okay?
Sure thing.
All right. So Juha once again makes it through another lap with Bouchard behind him as they head down to Eau Rouge. And man, Juha's really handling well through there. I don't think he even lifted there. And this is a part of the track where he's very strong, and he's just leaving Bouchard in the dust as they head up to Les Combes. That was very authoritative there. He's been doing that last few laps. So Grant Riddall leads still. He's about 4 seconds ahead of this battle between Juha Boss and Jules Bouchard, but it appears now that I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jules is able to close up on Juha in the twisty bits of this track. And the true strength of the Ferrari is probably in its horsepower. Because the Lotus is an excellent vehicle when it comes to twisting, turning portions of a track. Very nimble. So yeah, you can see right now he's already catching back up to him again. So on straight up horsepower, it looks like Juha's got the measure on Bouchard for the moment. David Saber, we saw earlier, has moved up to 4th place. He passed Tim Hill right when you were coming on the channel. So I think that's a lot better than he expected he would do based on his pre-race comments. So we'll have to keep an eye on David. Tim Hilla is running 5th in the Benetton. 6th is Luciano Rocha. 7th, Gabriel
here
Del...
comes Bouchard on boost.
Oh! And he does get by. Yep.
But I can imagine the helmet in US cars are probably a little bit non-child friendly at the moment. That was very scary.
Well, let's take a look at the replay here. He goes on the inside here. Oh my goodness! I don't think Juha was expecting him to go by there because he turned in for the corner as if Jules wasn't there. They were lucky to get away with that one without any kind of damage. So now Juha is demoted to 3rd place, Bouchard in 2nd. Now we'll see if Bouchard can track down Grant, who is 5.7 seconds up the road from Bouchard. Saber is in a very comfortable 4th place, meaning that no one's in front of him, no one's behind him. Then you have this really big gaggle of cars really close together with Hilla, Rocha, Gabriel Del Piccolo, who did not get the kind of start that he would have wanted. He was up in 4th place for the start, and now he's in 7th, so clearly did not have the start that he would have wanted. Coxon is in 8th, 9th is K.O. McKeels, and 10th Francisco Amaral, so the Williams duo are starting to assert themselves. In 11th is Paggiola. That is of note, Jonathan, because Tyrrell, to this point, have had just an abysmal season. And here the car is in the hands of a one-off drive in Bruno Paggiola, and he's got the car just outside the top 10. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think also in the real-life series, this was the first track where Tyrrell actually showed some semblance of pace. I think Brundle got the car inside top 10. I can't remember if it was qualifying or the race, and then Strife also had a good race going until I think he retired from like 12th or 11th.
Is it possible that Tyrrell has some kind of update that arrived at this particular track, and that could account for why Bruno is having a better time here than the full-time?
I think they got the upgraded chassis, the new 86 chassis for this round, so, or maybe it was for Monaco, but this was the first track where it could actually work as such, as Monaco is its own track altogether in the way it drives and works.
Well, he's doing well. Then we have Anders in 12th, so he dropped a couple of places at the start. Mark Whitman is in 13th place in an Ocella. That's kind of an eye-opener. And right behind him, also in another one-off drive, Centorami in the AGS is 14th. That's pretty good for those cars. And then we have Miller in the Minardi in 15th. 16th is Drexler in the other Tyrrell. 17th, Santo in the other Minardi. Bruno is in Arrows. I think the only Arrows that qualified for this race. 19th is Schlapinski. 20th, Edison. Oliveira. 21st, Kowalski, and 22nd, John Team. This is after he stopped to replace the front wing that was knocked off in the start, so he's, I'm sure he's very disappointed right now. 23rd is Ray Riddall, so he also had a problem. It appeared he had some kind of contact at Radion on lap 1, and 24th and out of the race is Oscar Team. Demir Karatko in the other Barclay Arrows. Okay, so both of them qualified. My apologies. And 26th is yourself, unfortunately. So the gap is staying about the same between Grant and Jules. It's about 5.6 seconds right now. Boss is falling a little bit behind Jules, so it appears he may not have the pace to keep up. He's got about a second gap now. Saber is going along quite well. Del Piccolo, while we were talking about the other cars towards the back, has made it up to 5th now. So he's picked up 2 places in his Brabham. So we could see a good performance from him. Now in 6th place is Hilla, and 7th is Rocha. Rocha is right with Hilla now as Hilla runs a bit wide as they go to Blanchimont. And now Luciano's got an excellent roll here. He might try to overtake him on the outside. That's probably not the best place to go.
Oh.
The cars rub tires, and Rocha has no choice but to back off. That was a smart thing to do here. That would not have ended well if he had pursued that overtake. He's in a Benetton sandwich right now, Rocha is. But keep in mind, he's running the same equipment that Bouchard's running. Here they come down to La Source again.
I think they'll feel happy to come down to La Source or Rouge and Radio, because that was 2 brown moments for Hiller within like 15 seconds.
Too close for comfort there. But Oscar team's bad luck continues. That's really too bad. He had an awful race at Monaco. Again, for some reason, he had to start from the pit lane in this race. I don't know what's going on there. But it's very odd that you would start from the pit lane twice. 2 Grand Prix in succession. That's really weird. Anyway, Rocha is right with Hilla now, so we might see a bid for the last points-paying position. As Alberto is always fond of saying, the most contested places in a Grand Prix usually are for 3rd place, because it's the last place in the podium, and then 6th place, which is the last points-paying position. So Hilla definitely wants to hang on to the 6th place. It hasn't been that great of a season for Benetton so far. They've been struggling with their cars, but they're supposed to get some updates eventually that'll help the United Colors of Benetton. But look at
the first upgrade they had for this round, actually. So.
Oh well, that could account for some of the pace that they have. Both of them started in the top 10. Tim Hilla started 7th, and Coxon started 9th. So here they come now, getting closer to the old part of the circuit. I think where you start to see the dashed lines is where the old circuit picks back up again. Right here, yes. Yes, yeah, Blanchimont right here is where you rejoin the old circuit. And Rocha, I don't think is in a position to do much here. You notice that these are public roads, this portion of the circuit, and it's quite narrow here. All a driver has to do is put his car slightly offline, and that's
Look
it.
at that from Michiels. Great pass. In behind that, Michiels passed Coxon with a great opportunistic move.
Let's take a look at it by replay here. Thank you for the tip. In his Williams, Cannon Williams Honda team, right down the inside with authority, and takes the position away. Very, very excellent move by K.O. Michiels, who is now 8th. And he's right behind Rocha at this point. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to bring the car forward. His teammate, Francisco Amaral, isn't too far behind this group either.
I think they've been somewhat working together to catch back up, and now it's every man for themselves again.
Yep, riding on board with KO, sideways Michiels now, as he follows Luciano Rocha and Tim Hilla downhill now into this little, whoa, no! KO is spun out! Oh. KO spins out into the kitty litter. Can he get the car going again? That's the critical thing. It is still running, so he's trying to he lost all momentum there. He has no momentum. He's trying to get the car rolling again. He's gonna get back in there, but this is gonna damage the engine, no doubt. So he gets back on 12th place. Now, that was incredibly costly. Let's look at a replay of this and see what happened.
I think he may have missed the gear or missed the down change timing as such.
Something happened here. Yeah, he lost the back end entirely as he went in there. So something, maybe a brake bias problem?
No, based on what I saw, it actually was he went down a gear, but he
Yeah.
mistimed, so he actually locked the rears momentarily with the engine brake of going down the gear, and that's why the car turned around on him.
Well, that's incredible. It's I mean, and I'm sure he's extremely frustrated, but he's got to collect himself and try to keep driving, you know, with a cool head. The old Vladimir Lenin quote: "You got to have your heart on fire and your brain on ice." Could probably also apply to Grand Prix drivers. Luke, that now puts Bruno Paggiola in the top 10 in the Data General Team Tyrrell number 3. And here we go. Here are the two Benettons now running together because of the misfortune of K.O. McHeels.
Yep, and Rocha has passed Hiller for 6th place.
Yeah, that happened while we were watching the calamity of KO. So now look at Rocha. He's pulled out a huge advantage already. Not a huge one, but big by the standards of having been just one lap. So there's Del Piccolo, who's actually stretched out quite an advantage here. And are we going to have a switch in positions for... Yeah, the right there, the Benetton BMW team, they swap positions. Coxon now leads Hilla and Amaral through the corner. Grant Ridal is still in front. Jules Bouchard is in 2nd place. And the gap there
Okay,
is...
has retired. Oh, a big up at radio for KO. That's an unfortunate retirement for him.
Well, he may have... I don't think he incurred any damage on that spin. He didn't hit anything. But that's...
I think he just tried too hard to regain time there.
Well,
looked like he went in a bit too quick and just slightly went loose on him.
Well, that's too bad. Strange situation with him, you know, going into that corner. It just looked as if the back end just broke loose. I'm not sure, you know, what would induce something. The first thing that I think of is brake bias issues, but here comes Bouchard, lapping Cesarius Schlapinski, I believe, yes, who's down in 21st place. Just didn't get the same kind of qualifying performance that his teammate did for this race. But the gap is down to 3.9 seconds, so Bouchard is definitely reeling in Grant Ridal. So we'll see a battle for the lead at some point here. Boss is in 3rd, Saber 4th, 5th is Del Piccolo, who's pulled out a sizable advantage over Rocha, who's just now exiting La Source. And then you have the duo of Cox and... Oh, no, wait, Hill has actually dropped a place to Amaral. Amaral now in 8th place in the Cannon Williams Honda, the only Cannon Williams Honda left, heading through Eau Rouge and Radion. And there is Tim Hilla in 9th place. 10th, Paggiola. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Paggiola can pull off a points finish. We'll see what happens. Now all you guys in the YouTube chat can lecture me on commentator curse. But a good performance by Del Piccolo so far, and great performance by David Saber. He's looking really good. If something were to happen to the people in front, he might be able to produce another amazing finish. He got his 2nd career win, the start of the championship this year at Rio. He was very happy, and a very well-deserved win. So Juha is pretty much running by himself now. He's only surrounded... Well, he's got Saber a little ways behind him, but not in a position to challenge yet. He's got a ways to go. Del Piccolo is kind of by himself, so is Rocha. So the question is Amaral going to be able to force the issue here with the Benetton of Coxon on board with Amaral now. Coxon is in 7th place, just outside the points. That one left-hander right there is a really difficult one. If you don't do that exactly right... Oh, look at him close up under braking here. That Honda engine definitely very strong. On to the main straight again, so heading for La Source. Let's see what Coxon can do once they get on the straight here, how much horsepower difference there is. Oh, look, he's got really short gears in that Williams. But he definitely looks like he has a roll on Coxon as they come to Eau Rouge. Yeah, definitely.
Well, the thing with the Honda is that the power is at the very top of the rev range, so
yeah,
I think that's the reason he runs.
Here he comes. He's going to make an attempt here at Lake Holm, and he just sails by. So Amaral now into 7th place. We have a yellow flag at this corner, not sure why. I think I hear somebody having an issue. I can't be certain, but in any case...
Jan Kowalski is unfortunately in the second cellar.
All right, so Kowalski off the track. And now look at this, Coxon still right with Amaral, so this may not be over yet.
Jan now rejoins the track, probably with a hot engine, but hopefully we'll be able to cool that down and continue.
Let's see if we can find Jan here. Let's look at a replay of this. Yeah, he... it'll be interesting to see if this is in any way similar to the incident with K.O. McKeel's. Same corner. Or no, actually, it's not.
Actually,
no, wait, I'm sorry, no, it's Lake Holm. It's yeah, and you can see here how it's very different. Well, he went in there. It's actually Malmedy where this happened.
Mm-hmm.
He I see what happened. He got crossed up entering Lake Holm. The back end comes around. He goes onto the curb, and that sends him straight into the kitty litter at Malmedy. That's what happened.
It's effectively the same thing that happened to me. It's just he was fortunate enough to have the car angled to where it missed all the barriers.
Here's a Drexler battling with the AGS of Centorami. And Centorami looks like he's trying to get by, but looking for the right time to do it. The circuit presents you with opportunities to pass, but they gotta be opportunities that you're ready for.
Centorami with quite a bit of understeer and the long left-hander, and now Drexler catching up to Wittmann for position.
All right, okay. Grant Riddall has lost the lead, and we're going to have to see a replay here as to why. He must have had some kind of an incident.
Yeah, he must have had a spin or something.
He must have had a spin or something. I'm not sure where he did. He got through Eau Rouge with no problem, so maybe it happened down at.
Yeah, it's at turn 1.
It's at La Source, so let's see if we can go back and get it here.
I think he missed a gear change on the way into La Source. Yeah, just at the end, I think he missed a gear into first gear.
That's incredible. So this right here, this incident lost him the lead.
Or no, maybe that might actually be a hardware issue. No, because he stopped at the pit exit, so I think he had to refasten.
No. Okay. Here's what happened. We got it. Here's what happened. He comes into La Source, and the back end comes around. That's not uncommon on this turn to have it happen when you're down at at a very tight apex trying to apply the power. And there goes Bouchard into the lead, and Grant. And then here he stops. I don't know what this is about. To your point,
I think based on that, I think that was a hardware issue. Either the pedals moved, or maybe the gear shifter. Effectively, the gear lever came off in his hands.
I don't know,
so to speak. So he had to refasten it.
It could have been a hardware issue of some kind. In any case, he's down to 3rd place, and he's actually just a little bit in front of his teammate Del Piccolo. So there goes the dream situation for Brabham in one miscue. Now the championship leader is back in front with Juha Boss running in 2nd place. Don't pay attention there to John Team. That is not a position being contested there. He's a lap down. Grant Riddall is all the way back to 3rd place. 4th is Gabriel Del Piccolo. 5th, David Saber. And look at Rocha here. Oh, no, wait. That is a car he's lapping, actually. Rocha is in 6th place. The last car in the points. 7th is Francisco Amaral. 8th and 9th are the 2 Benettons, and then 10th is Paggiola. That's your top 10. So Grant, I'm sure, is really, really disgusted with himself for what happened there. But in any case, it looks like the car is now running okay, and he's out of danger. But man, that's, I've seen that incident happen before. That's the one place if you're not paying attention, you can absolutely get crossed up. Is that La Source? All that power, and it's a very acute corner. It's very easy to let that happen, and it looks like he's bobbled there just for a minute, so maybe he's not out of danger completely. But now he has to worry about his teammate behind him. I don't think there are any team orders at Motor Racing Developments, but it's a bit of a distance. It's waiting here for Del Piccolo to come through. Yeah, actually, Del Piccolo might come under attack from David Saber here in a minute. Saber driving his red and white Marlboro McLaren, coming to the bus stop chicane.
Not
Bus
too
stop
far behind either is Roja.
Yeah. Bus stop a lot easier on the exit for everybody.
Well, actually, it's quite a tight exit too, and it's quite bumpy, so it's trickier than it looks.
All right, Saber heading downhill now, and he does have a bit of a roll on Del Piccolo, but he doesn't dare try to pass him in this corner. It's not going to work. You got to wait until you get out of Eau Rouge. He very expertly does that. Now they're heading down the straight. Let's see if he can pull. He's got a bit of a roll here on Del Piccolo, and Gabriel takes it.
I don't think.
Well, Gabriel takes a defensive posture going into the turn. Yeah, he probably didn't have enough momentum to get it done, but there he goes with Gabriel into now Malmedy. Oh, there you go. That's the curb that we were being told is a problem here. These high curbs here, if you hit them, the car just bounces like a rubber ball back onto the track, and if you hit it too hard, that could put you out of the race. These barriers are not very far away. So, but David stays right there with Gabriel despite that miscue. Really small one, not too bad. Now they're heading downhill through this very quick Pouhon section. And he is right there with Gabriel. Great performance so far by David. And you're right, Rocha isn't too far behind this group. And then you have Amaral, Coxon, Hilla, and Paggiola, the top 10 in this Belgian Grand Prix, which so far has seen its share of drama. I don't know if you watched the 12 Hours of Sebring, Jonathan.
It's not broadcast on the channel I have, so I have to wait until it's released on the IMSA YouTube channel. So,
well,
no, I haven't, unfortunately.
Okay, in that case, I won't tell you what happened, but it is a pretty dramatic race. I will definitely say that.
I have heard that, yes.
Yes, it is hair-raising at certain points. So definitely worth a watch. But drama on the start of this race that put Grant into the lead. But unfortunately, Grant had that incident at La Source that we saw a little bit ago, and that gave the lead back to Bouchard. Bouchard, who has won 3 races in a row so far, and if he can pull this one off, it'll be 4 in a row. I don't know that we keep records on successive wins in a series, but in any case, he looks like he's got the opportunity on the plate now, thanks to what happened to Grant. So we'll see what happens. Here's
All that being said, the difference between Johan and Bouchard was only around 3.5 seconds until there was a bit of lap traffic. So I think Bouchard is running very tight to a fuel limit per lap, as is everyone else, but the pace is relatively similar.
Yeah, I think, it'd be fair to say that part of the reason that David Saber won at Rio was that the Lotus team didn't really have their race management down yet. But once they got it down, at least with Jules leading the team, they've been unbeatable. But that start that Grant had. Grant had a fantastic start. Got off the line much quicker than Bouchard, and it looked like he was going to have a real opportunity to crack open the championship and end the domination of Jules, but it didn't. Obviously, has not worked out that way. And we're watching one of the more interesting battles on track right now. David Sabre following Del Piccolo. He's Del Piccolo's pulling away a little bit now. I think. I don't know. Sabre seems to be doing better on the faster parts of the circuit. At least it appeared that way on the previous lap. They head down to La Source once again. Yeah, Rocha looks like he's gaining on these two. So it could be a 3-car battle in a minute here. Grant has some cars he has to deal with now. He just dispensed with one of the a shotgun in the Barclay Arrows BMW. Now he's gotten by John Team, who I'm sure is just fuming under that helmet after what happened. Well, maybe he's calmed down by now, but that's just not the thing you want to have happen on the start. He lost his front wing. Boss in second, and the gap is 4.119. So I don't think that's no. It's not a. Jules is dealing with traffic. That's why the time came down a little bit. He just passed 3 cars on that lap, so that explains why the gap has lessened between Bouchard and Boss. It's now a little over 4 seconds. As here comes
Rain 21st is doing fastest lap times, 2:05.4 that time around.
Well, Ray was the other one that came out on the short end of the stick on the start, lost a front wing at Radion, and it doesn't surprise me that he's putting up fast lap times, but unfortunately he's just way behind everybody else, as Boss now has to handle up the lap traffic that Bouchard's already taken care of. The gap is going back up again. It's now 4.5 seconds.
And that lap traffic is fighting hard. Wittmann and Drexler. Drexler tried to break up the inside at the bus stop.
See, this
just
is
barely was able to back out of it.
Yeah, see, this is a problem right here because you're embroiled in your own battle and you don't want to take the time. Oh my goodness, this Drexler nearly runs into the back end of Wittmann and goes almost straight, almost misses La Source. Boss is able to get by, so in a way that was good for Boss. He he gets by
and Drexler takes advantage too and passes Wittmann at the down the hill instead.
All right, so heading up to Les Combes.
Wow.
Oh shoot.
Wittmann's Ocella really quick in a straight line.
Well, he had a good toe there. Let's actually join that battle for a minute. Here's Mark Wittmann. Another one-off performance for him in the Ocella. And he is trailed by Michael Drexler, who I wager to say is not going to take that one sitting down. Actually, Drexler's got a pit indicator on. It might be an automatic one, so he might not be going into the pits. But this is also a car powered by a Renault turbocharged engine, the Tyrrell, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yep. And so Wittmann's now stretching out a bit of a lead there. But we watched Drexler in practice.
Santo has retired.
Oh no!
Look at what transpired there. I would almost hazard to guess it might be an engine.
No, he had an accident at Radion. I just saw it happen on replay.
Ouch.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it on board. Oh, he ran over the curb. I can tell you exactly what happened. He ran over the curb, exiting Eau Rouge on the left-hand side, and that sent him into the barrier on the right-hand side at Radion. That's why, and it, my goodness. But that's what happens when you run through that corner on the edge. You're playing with fire there. That's I mean, 40 foot. It's very hard to do that 43 times in a row.
Definitely so.
So, out of the race.
Rocha and Piccolo fighting now.
Yeah, here's Rocha and Del Piccolo. This is the other Lotus. The first one is Jules, and he is in the lead. Del Piccolo downshifting for the bus stop, and he's got another car in front of him here. I believe it's a lapped car. I could be wrong. Or is it Saber?
It is Saber.
It is Saber, so they are gaining on him.
Yep, and Amaral is closing in as well, I think. In the Williams.
All right, look at this.
Lexler actually did pit.
Here he comes.
He
He's got a roll, but he can't really do much with it here until they get out of Eau Rouge.
Ooh, that's an awkward line. He held on to it though.
No, he held on to it. I think Del Piccolo might have gave a little bit of a twist to the boost knob there. Until they call him 5th and 6th place drivers. Paggiola out of the race. Oh, no. Let's see what happened here. Well, it's too far back, but that's unfortunate because Tyrrell, as I have mentioned, are having a bad season. Centorami and Whitman still going at it.
Centorami and Whitman now? Oh,
yeah,
Drexler retired.
Sorry, yeah, now it's I mistook one white car for another one. This is Giovanni shadowing Whitman, driving the AGS with a very awkward hood in front of the driver. You can't see through it.
Looks like that was an engine failure for Paggiola.
Oh, shoot.
And turbo specifically.
And Whitman pulling out here a bit, although it looks like no, Giovanni is gaining slowly on Whitman. And seems, Giovanni is a skilled driver, don't forget. So even though he's, oh my goodness, he almost loses it going into the bus stop. Heading out of the bus stop now.
That idiot can be a bit temperamental.
Yeah, but I think that I've seen Centorami drive temperamental cars before and do okay. So I think if anybody can get some good performance out of a car like this, it's Centorami. We'll see what happens as the race continues. Nilsson 10th, Hill in 9th, Coxon in 8th. Amaral. There's a yellow flag in this section. Not sure what that's about. Probably somebody in the pit lane. Rocha still. Oh my goodness. Here's Grant Radal in 4th place. So Saber has passed him for 3rd. In fact, he's passed both of the Brabhams, if I'm right. Grant now is trying to overtake him again. Grant goes into 3rd place just on sheer power at the end of the straight. So now, now you have Grant in 3rd place, Saber in 4th, and in 5th is Del Piccolo. This is a really hot battle right here. Saber looks up the inside, but no, there's no room there. And unfortunately,
that's more of a let's unsettle him a little bit.
Yeah, that's just saying hello, here I am. Saber's also got a pit indicator on there. I'm not sure why, because we're definitely not. Well, it's 20 laps in, so we are getting to a point where some people may consider coming into the pits.
Sure, we saw Drexler already, so.
So who knows? That may be the case. Let's look at the field here. Bouchard is not coming into the pits. He's starting another lap, and so is Yuha. Grant does not have his pin indicator on, so we'll see what happens here when David Saber comes down to the bus stop.
Ooh, and in behind, that was Rocha trying to put a move on Del Piccolo.
Yep. Keeping an eye on those two. That's a combustible duo there. As here comes Saber out of the bus stop. Is he going to go for the pits? The answer is yes, he is. There he goes. And so does... Oh my goodness, that was close. Del Piccolo also in. Both making their pit stops now. And they're going to be falling down the order. Amaral now into the points in 5th. Rocha is 4th. Coxon now into the points in 6th. Tim Hill is 7th. Or no, actually...
And Del Piccolo comes out ahead of Saber.
Actually, Coxon is in the pits as well. That's a bunch of cars, 3 of them to be precise, are doing their pit stops right now. Exiting the pits is Coxon and Saber and Del Piccolo. So Del Piccolo had the best stop of those two. Hilla in 6th, Amaral 5th, but they all have to stop yet. Rocha is in 4th now. 3rd is Grant. Oh my goodness, Grant's got a lot of work ahead of him here. He's got a big gaggle of cars that he has to thread his way through. We talked at the start of the race about how this is a track that suits the Brabham much more than what we've had so far. It's long wheelbase and low profile. Definitely are more at home here. So now he's got to find a way past in front of him here. One of the
Wittmann and I think that's Jonatan.
Whitman. Yeah, Whitman and John Team.
They were fighting for position as well.
Yeah, so he gets between them now. How are you feeling, Jonathan? Okay?
About as bad as I've been most of the days, so...
I can't fathom starting a race with a migraine, let alone being on here and talking.
Well,
I appreciate
I suppose in a way it's don't know how to put that, because it's not really iron-headedness, because...
No.
But I mean, it's effectively, I want to be helpful, I want to do something...
Well, you're being very helpful,
that
but...
that is better than crashing out on the first lap, so...
Well, I hope it's not causing you any extra strain or anything. I don't want to...
No, it's fine.
Okay, just checking in.
Yep.
So Grant, at some point, is going to have to take a stop here, but also, you know, Juha and Bouchard also, you would think. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. The mod actually has built in a little bit of a human error factor in the pit stops. So sometimes you can have a long pit stop unwittingly. So just because cars enter the pits at the same time doesn't necessarily mean they'll leave at the same time. It also depends on how much work they're doing, if they change tires or not. These cars don't refuel, I believe. They should have all the fuel on board to go the distance. They're just changing tires if they come in. So
I've seen, I think I've seen, the quickest I've seen myself is around an 11-second stop. Longest was 23, so it's very much a, we sort of joke about it in the drivers Ferrari team, where we say, well, when it takes a long time, they're arguing about what kind of tires to put on. Should it be round or square?
That's funny. Okay. Grant heads through the bus stop one more time. Let's see if he decides to pit now. No, he is going to go another lap. Rocha in 4th. He's going to take another lap. Amaral is in 5th. And oh my goodness, right behind him, one of the, I think the only remaining, no, there's two Ligiers in here, but that was
John Tim, yeah.
That was John Team. Had a spin. Where is John now? Let's see.
Hiller comes in along with Amaral, and I noticed.
Yeah, there we go.
That's not Nielsen, so that is Stapinski in the pits as well. Dave Miller entering the pits on this lap.
Yeah, there's several people coming in at this time. There we go.
Hiller with a tight exit, but manages it, and looks like a very long stop for the Williams back there.
Yeah, that's way longer than they would like. And there's Miller going back on track. Finally, Amaral gets going, and Slapinski's just sitting there. He might be fixing something. There he goes, finally. At the hairpin here at La Source. There's a wide shot of La Source for you.
So Drexler in 15th now in another fight with Chacon in the arrows, so...
Whitman running by himself now. 12th is Centorami. 13th, John Team. Yeah, here's this battle you're talking about. Drexler in Data General Team Tyrrell, the one Tyrrell remaining, and he is right with Bruno Chacon in the USF&G sponsored Barclay Arrows.
You have Boas in the
Oh!
Ferrari in the pits. Very quick stop from the Ferrari team this time.
Okay.
Nicely done.
All right, so that means he's going to be falling down the order temporarily, as my goodness, Drexler is looking for a way by Bruno, but he's having the hardest time doing it. He's clearly the quicker car, and Bruno is thwarting his every attempt here. Left-hander now, and then the very tight left-hander. Drexler does a good job handling that, so does Bruno, and they're heading to the bus stop. But this looks like a very hot battle here. It's too bad it's not for points. But in any case, Team not as far down the order as I thought he would be. He's 13th, so that's good. I mean, he's not quitting. 12th, Centorami. 11th, Mark Whitman. And here's Amaral after his pit stop, just behind Ray Radal. Here's Anders Nilsson taking his pit stop from 9th place, and he's in the Team Haas USA entry. And there goes Radal, Amaral, and Miller all by. Out goes Nilsson. So both of the Team Haas entries have made their pit stops now, and he's in 10th, so he didn't lose too much on that.
And Anders said he would be happy to get a top 10 finish here, so...
Oh, it's a power circuit, and a handling circuit too. It's kind of a bit of both. Saber in 6th, Del Piccolo 5th, Rocha still in 4th. He hasn't made his pit stop yet. Grant is in 3rd. You are 2nd, and Jules in 1st. Jules goes for another lap.
Yeah, I wonder if he's brave enough to do a no-stop around here.
Well, Yuha, you said, had made his pit stop, and he was able to make it and stay in 2nd place. That's how much advantage he had over Grant. It's only 4.8 seconds now between himself and Grant, but he is a whopping 24.4 seconds behind Jules. So his only hope of getting close to Jules now is if Jules, his tires just go away, if he plans to do a full race with no stops, or he makes a pit stop and something goes wrong.
Indeed.
Rocha's in 4th still. Del Piccolo exiting the bus stop in 5th place. He's already made his pit stop. Same is true of, well, Saber. Not sure if he made a stop. I didn't see it, but...
he has stopped, yes.
Okay, well, then a lot of the front runners have stopped, except for the people in the lead and in 2nd. Well, in the lead, Jules has not stopped. Grant has not stopped, has he?
I don't think so, and I don't think Rocha has stopped either.
Okay.
So Del Piccolo is Boss, and then Del Piccolo are the best placed cars drivers that has pitted.
Well, Coxon may have another points pain finish on the plate here if he can handle it properly in the second half of the race here, because we are definitely past half distance. 25 laps are now. Well, this is now the 25th lap for these cars. 24 complete.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, I think Buchard should pit on this lap.
Okay.
If he's going to pit, he should pit at this lap, because Boss gained 2 seconds in the opening sector.
And that's on fresh tires, so...
Yes.
All right, well, let's see what happens here. Does he go for the pit lane? No, he does not. He's going for another lap.
Wow.
Well... Atlasaurus.
I pulled a little bit back down the straight in the 2nd sector. But all in all, looks like Boss is gaining about 1.5 seconds a lap, I'd say. About a second a lap total he gains. So that would be very tight for Bouchard to keep the lead.
Yeah, with the amount of laps to go, for sure, that would definitely put him in a position to possibly pass and take the win. Saber in 6th place now, Coxon in 7th place. And behind him, actually, there's a big battle going on with Whitman again. Whitman getting lots of TV time here because he's involved in close battles with that Centorami. Actually, that would be Centorami demoting Whitman to 12th. But Whitman is not going to take that line down. Here he comes, looking up the inside at La Source, but not going to do it there.
Ooh.
Incidentally, coming up on the F1 calendar is Detroit, an area that I'm somewhat familiar with.
Yep, but before that is the
Yes, Canada's
Canadian Grand
first.
Prix,
But
Detroit will be interesting indeed.
Yes, there's part of me that would like to place a phone call to Osella and perhaps start the Detroit Grand Prix, my home circuit. But I'm still weighing that possibility because obviously if we did that, we need somebody else to broadcast, and Alberto is definitely out of town that weekend, so I don't know. We'll have to think about that one, but in any case, Whitman in the Osella is staying right with Centorami. That Osella is powered by an Alfa Romeo engine, I believe.
Yep.
So he's going to be... this is interesting. The highest placement we've seen for an Osella in this series so far was 10th place at the Monaco Grand Prix by Gilles Taux. So this is also a pretty remarkable performance for an Osella. Whitman now right with Centorami as they head through the backside of the course. Oh, Centorami ran up in the curb there. That's going to slow him just a shade. Here they are at Blanchimont, rejoining the old circuit, and he's definitely got a roll. Whitman looking up the inside. He is alongside him now, but running out of room. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Centorami should have left him a bit more room there.
Centorami didn't give him a lot of room, but he's still got a roll
Still has
here.
to run.
Yeah, he still has the run. Heading up the inside. He's going to try for it at the bus stop. Does he get it done? Yes, he does. Nicely done by Whitman. Look at Centorami, though, looking up the inside. He takes the position right back. And, well, this is not for position, but here comes Tim Hilla through. He is on a lap ahead of these cars, so now there's some space between these two, so they'll get to catch their breath for a second. But, man, that was some exciting racing for a second there.
Indeed, and another Tim is behind as well. Jon Tim is now in behind, and here comes Wittmann.
Wow.
Ooh. Back to it they are.
So, no points on the line here, but man, this is quite a scrap between Centorami and Whitman. Whitman looks like he's reached down and twisted the old boost knob. Goes up the inside here, and is he going to get it done?
He's definitely going to try.
Yes, he gets it done going into Les Combes. And that's actually, that's for position, isn't it, with a team right behind them. So we got 3-car battle here for 11th place. And look at John Team. He's really looking hot to trot here with Centorami. He wants to get that position. Of course, that's going to just put him in between the two cars, so it won't alleviate any stress. But there he goes. He sails past Centorami into 12th. Now he's got his sights set on John Team. I'm sorry, not John Team, on Mark Whitman, just ahead of this group. So fantastic scraps going on in the back of the field. Let's look further forward here. Make sure we're not... Oh, look at this. Saber right with Del Piccolo as they enter the bus stop. This is an exciting battle here for 5th place. Bouchard is still leading. Boss is in 2nd. Grant 3rd. Luciano Rosa's 4th. That's on the fact that he hasn't stopped. Oh, shoot. Look at that. Del Piccolo chops right across the bow of David Saber.
And Saber set the fastest lap of the race, so that's why he was so close to Del Piccolo right here.
Through Eau Rouge. Oh my goodness, Sabre had to save it there. That didn't look dramatic, but trust me, it was. He hit the curb on the other side there, and that's the exact thing that put out. I can't remember who it was. One of the drivers.
Pagiola, I think.
Yeah, had an incident there where he touched the curb and it sent him straight into the right-hand barrier at Radillon. So out of Malmedy now, and Sabre definitely looks like he's trying to get 5th place from Del Piccolo here. And he's certainly quicker than Del Piccolo on this part of the circuit, because when we joined them, they were at the bus stop, and he was right up with Del Piccolo. So let's see what happens here as the... oh, he's definitely faster here. Del Piccolo may be driving with some conservation in mind. Oh, but you saw what happened right there. David Sabre touched the inside curb, and it almost sent him off to the right. So that's really something you have to watch at this circuit. You can't touch the curbs too much.
Ooh, and that's a spin for Amaral. Down in 9th. Just a quick 360 and back going again.
Oh, he actually had contact.
I don't think so.
No, he did.
No, he ran too deep in. Oh, maybe earlier.
No, here's what. Let's have a look here. He's this is a battle going on. He's at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Between Team and Mark Whitman, and there's the contact. He got clipped by David. I'm sorry, by John Team.
Yeah,
so
then he finished it off with a spin at Malmedy indeed. Oops.
So there may be, and Whitman almost gets collected, so there might be some damage to that car as a result of the contact. There's John.
On Amaral's car, definitely that overheated pilot, because he had another close moment.
Goodness.
Just now.
Yellow flag here at the bus stop. I don't see anything. It must be pit stops going on. Oh no, wait! No, wait! Oh no, wait! There it is! Gabriel Del Piccolo out of the race! Gabriel Del Piccolo coasts to a stop, probably an engine failure, I would guess. Yeah,
I'll
the
have
car.
a quick check.
The car's silent as he's right at the entrance to the pit lane. So, oh man, that's just devastating blow for the.
He was having a heated fight with Sabre. Still.
Well, Sabre wins that fight by default. He is now 5th place. Coxon enters the points at 6th place. 7th is Hilla, and 8th is Amaral. 9th is Nilsson. John Team eventually will end up in 10th here. But look at this. This is still a huge battle going on here between these three. In particular, looking at John Team, who is going to be in 10th place now, and Mark Whitman following him in the Ocella. So riding off John Team after the start that he had where he lost his front wing was a mistake, because he's right there outside the top 10.
The battle for second could be heated enough, because Grant just set the fastest lap of the race and only just over 3 seconds behind Bose now.
Puts Nilsson in the top 10 too, in 9th. And Coxon is just on the points, yeah, in 6th place. So there you go. Sabre 5th, 4th is Roche. Roche still has not stopped. Grant is 3rd, still has not stopped to our knowledge. Boss is 2nd. And that time is coming down. You're right, Jonathan. It's down to 19.4 seconds. So he could potentially catch Bouchard. I mean, Bouchard is pretty much committed now to his strategy of just driving. I mean, I think we can safely say his strategy is to drive the whole race with no stop. And
indeed so.
He is committed to it. If he comes in now, it's 17.8 seconds now, so the gap is definitely coming down. Bouchard is on worn tires, fresher tires for Juha. So, and we should also point out that this is the home Grand Prix for Juha, so that might give him some extra incentive to charge forward. I don't know how much effect that has on somebody. I remember watching an interview with Mario Andretti when they were asking him about Nazareth, the oval being his home race, and he says, "Well, the nice thing about it is I'm the only one in the group that gets to sleep in my own bed that night because he lives in he lives in Nazareth." So, I mean, I would imagine there's some comfort there.
For sure.
Everybody else has to deal with hotels. 17.2 seconds is the gap now. 16.9. So it is steadily dropping. So don't turn off your YouTube. Oh God, I dated myself saying it that way. Don't go and do something else just yet, because it looks like Bouchard's not going to be able to maintain the lead given this trend that we're seeing right now. Juha driving a fantastic race. Grant is actually catching, it appears. So maybe there's going to be a three-way battle here. And Grant, I'm sure, has got the red mist because he had the lead. He had a great opportunity to take his first win of the year, and then had that unfortunate incident at La Source where he just too much power too soon, I think, is what happened. Grant stopped on lap 20, according to Richard Wilkes, who's watching via YouTube. Thank you for that information. We try to see everything here, but sometimes we don't. So it'll be interesting to see, because he looks like he's closing on Juha. So BMW versus Ferrari. Probably a good time to do our trivia question, so that we can show. It's going to be a pretty exciting finish, I think. So we might want to do it now and get it out of the way. All right. So the trivia question is, who won the last Belgian Grand Prix at Spa that was part of the pre-war European Championship? Was it A, Herman Lang, B, Tazio Nuvolari, or C, Giuseppe Farina?
Ooh.
Some people are just going to be throwing a dart. I get that, but this racetrack has so much history and lore.
Well,
that you got.
I get a feel it could very well be A.
Guess what?
I would have a stab.
You are correct. It is Herman Lang, and that was in 1939. The last year that it was run, obviously before World War II.
Yes, I won something tonight.
Cool. All right, so yeah, Grant now has to handle up another BMW-powered car in the form of an Arrows, and dispenses with it with no problem. The gap between him and Boss is 1.7 seconds, and Boss now has to deal with some traffic of his own in the form of Dave Miller in a Miller running 14th right now in the Minardi.
Really sporting there, and
yeah, did a good job getting out of the way.
And I don't know if it was due to traffic or something else, but 1.4 seconds Boss gained that lap, and gained more still, even with that lap traffic situation.
So it looks like we're setting up for a really interesting finish to this Belgian Grand Prix. So everybody keep watching.
Yeah, we got 13 laps to go, including this lap. 14.7 seconds is the gap.
Is it just me, or has this race gone by incredibly quick? It has. It's only an hour and 8 minutes into the race, so it could be one of the fastest races we've done so far this season.
Indeed, but that is part of Spa because the speeds are so quick.
It is a very fast circuit. As now Mark Whitman is the next target for Juha, and he pulls off line, lets him by. Very well done.
Nicely done indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he may be transporting now to try and get to the finish.
Yeah. And look at that. There you can see the distance between, just for a minute, but you can see it, between Juha and Grant Radal. Yeah, that gap is definitely coming down. It's 1.4 seconds now. So there's definitely going to be a battle for second place, and probably will be a battle for the lead, although the lead now is 14.7 seconds. So it went up a tiny bit, but we'll see how things pan out here.
by a few hundreds, I think. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be close no matter what.
The other thing to think about here is fuel mileage. We're not certain how stingy people have been with the boost knob during this race. So some people may be in a situation where they have to conserve to make it to the end. Others may be in a position where they've stockpiled fuel mileage and can turn it up towards the end. We'll see. Benettons are running 6th and 7th at the moment. Amaral is in 8th. 9th for Anders. So another great result could be on the table for the Team Haas USA Lola. And hats off to John Team for keeping going. I mean, that's got to be really gutting to lose your front wing right at the first corner, first lap. And he keeps it going, and he's running in the top 10. That shows true grit. Drexler,
Yeah, for sure.
Drexler in 11th. This is by far the best that a Tyrrell has done this year, no question. And unfortunately, it has to come for when the drivers that are the main drivers for the team are not here. This is done by not to discount Drexler's ability at all. He's a good driver, but it's ironic that it would come when the main drivers for the team are absent. Centorami in 12th. Dave Miller is 13th. Oh my goodness! Chacon has just had a huge accident just past Blanchimont, and he is most definitely going to be out of the race. The car can't decide whether it wants to be on the left or right-hand side of the Armco, but in any case, let's take a look at that again. He just absolutely slammed the barrier. So he's going to be out of the race. That's too bad. Whitman is 14th, and he's got a little ways to make up before he gets to Miller, who's 13th. Centorami 12th. Drexler is 11th. 10th is Team. So let's go back up to the front here and see what the times are.
13.5 seconds at the line.
There's that yellow flag. I'm sure that was for Chacon.
Indeed.
So yeah, I think there might be some sharing of plans here with the two Lotus drivers, because if Bouchard is definitely staying out and not going for any pit stop, it appears Roche is doing the same thing, because he hasn't stopped either. At least that's, from what I can tell, that's what's been going on. So it looks like that's a shared strategy going on. In any case, Grant is closing in on, oh goodness, that looked a bit precarious, but he gets by the Jolly Club AGS with no trouble. And the gap's open slightly here between himself and Boss. It's 2.3 seconds now. But more importantly, the gap between Boss and Bouchard is now at 12.7, so that's coming down.
I wonder if Bouchard may have... he's dealing with a bit of traffic here. Just now getting past Drexler.
Yeah, sometimes and here's that yellow flag again. So apparently Bouchard is still in this area. I'm sorry, not Bouchard. Chacon is somewhere in that area. We just don't see him. The car is off the track somewhere there. So the marshals are warning people.
I think it'll be around 10 11 seconds now.
10.5 seconds. Wow. Okay, so get your popcorn and your 3D glasses. Well, maybe not 3D glasses, but...
Well, maybe that spices things up. For me, it's never been anything, because I'm wide-eyed. So for me, it's just one color or the other.
Oh goodness. Well, also, while we have a second here, coming up at ISO next week, the pro cars are back in action. This time at the Åcerclinth, round 6 of 9 of the 1980 Pro Car Championship. That's Sunday, March 26th, and that starts at 2000 CEST. We're finally going on European summertime on the 26th. That's the exact day that it happens. And then the following week, we go back Formula One racing, and this time we're at, as you mentioned, Jonathan, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Grand Prix Labatt du Canada, round 6 of 16, and that's on April 2nd. Race starts at 2000 CEST.
Unfortunately for my taste, I'm not a fan of the Gilles Villeneuve circuit.
It's an acquired taste. It's a high-speed circuit, and that's going to be a circuit I think that's probably going to be a challenge on fuel, I would think, because they're constantly
Fuel and brakes, I
yes,
think.
both, because they're constantly accelerating up to top end and then slowing back down again for a chicane on that circuit. And yeah, I can see how that would be. I can see how not everybody would like that circuit very much. But modern Formula One, they definitely wanted to bring that Canadian Grand Prix to a major city center. And prior it had been at places like Mont-Tremblant and Saint-Jovite, and well, that's the same track. Sorry, and Mosport, and then they moved it to Montreal in '78, and Gilles Villeneuve promptly won his home Grand Prix.
And they went, let's keep it there.
Yeah.
8.6 seconds gap. Now we pulled another nearly 2 seconds that lap. Did you
Wow.
know?
All right, so fasten your seatbelts. We'll see what happens here. I'm running out of similes for keep watching. Juha, it's funny. Juha was his comments ahead of the race, downplaying how he's going to do. He always does that. That's what we can expect from him. Although it looks like, a blown engine for. Oh my goodness! Tim Hillett is in the gravel trap.
Oh no!
I believe one that just follows the 180 after. No, I'm not entirely sure where this is. It's on the backside of the course. It's after Blanchimont, but man, let's see what happened here. Yeah, he went.
Oh.
He actually had contact with the barrier as well. Did he just simply understeer off the corner? I don't know. Let's run it back here, see what happened. Oh my goodness, he ran wide, coming off a corner right in front of this was right in front of Coxon. And so actually he got ahead of Coxon at some point, and then he runs off into the gravel. I think he got kind of beached there a bit by the barrier or by the curb, and that sent him straight into the goodness. So is he going to continue? He's continuing. Hasn't lost his front or rear wings, so apparently he's all right. But that promotes Amaral to 7th place. So all Amaral needs is one more calamity ahead of him, and he can be in the points. And maybe it just happened. Rocha is off the track from 5th place, and he's trying to get the car going. He can't get it. My goodness, he's having a really hard time getting it even pointed in the right direction.
He understeered in the double left-hander before I think that's
gets
called
going
Malmö.
Again. He's rolling once again. He's in 5th place, so he lost a place to Saber. Saber goes up to 4th.
Oh no! I think that's a blown end. Is that a blown engine for Grant? It's at least smoking.
Let's have a look.
The engine is still running, but that is smoke.
There is smoke coming out the back of Grant's car, and he heads for the pits. Is he just going to park the car?
Might be the case, yeah. He's at least trying a pit stop.
Well, that's just going to cause it to heat even more. I don't really see the strategy here. I mean, if he stops, he has to turn the engine off to cool it off, but he's just going to lose all manner of time here. There he goes. I don't know what he was doing there. Was he changing tires or?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe trying a super soft
the car is smoking.
tire at the end.
I don't know if he's aware of it, but the car is absolutely smoking and is not long for this earth. It is definitely not going to make it probably another lap. Looking at the way it is now.
Well, I think it's one of those situations where he goes, well, at least I want a faster step. Maybe,
man.
I don't know. It's very unfortunate either way.
Well, it's still smoking now. But Saber, that promotes David Saber up to 3rd place. Rocha may have a chance to get back into 4th here, based on what we're seeing here. Yep, I think that's it right there. Yep, that's it.
He runs straight on, so that's...
Yeah, that's the end of it. So
that's quiet.
Grant out of the race. It looks like that's 2 engine failures for Brabham in this race. So they had a remarkable opportunity to finally compete with Bouchard and Lotus on their own terms, and it just didn't pan out. So they're probably really disappointed. Bernie is probably throwing a clipboard somewhere. Not at all what they wanted to have happen, but look at that. Look, it puts Francisco Amaral, who has not scored any points yet this year, into 6th place for Williams. So,
Indeed.
and Coxon is in 5th place. So there you go. Taking advantage of other people's problems is sometimes what racing is all about.
Indeed.
Rocha back to 4th, and he's a lucky guy after what happened there. He's it's amazing that he can have that happen and be in 4th. 3rd is David Saber, a very calm, steady drive by David, and he is in 3rd place. 2nd is Boss. The gap is 6 seconds between Boss and Bouchard. 6 seconds, that's all. And we're on lap 38 right now. So at this rate, we're going to see a battle for the lead probably before the race is over.
Could definitely be the case. Traffic related and car reliability, of course. Let's see, he will cross a timing beacon very shortly. 5.2 seconds now.
What a race this has been. Very exciting from the very start. And thank you very much, Jonatan, for staying with us under duress from... I know you're not feeling at your best, but it's quite sporting of you to help us out. If it were me, I would have gone... If it were me, I would have gone straight to bed. 5.2 seconds now, so it's steadily coming down. What do you think's going on here? Do you think Bouchard is running to fuel numbers or something, or?
Possibly that, but it could also just be the difference in half a race worth of tires. 4.8. Now the gap.
I'm thinking that he's running the fuel numbers because early on, Grant had a much better start than he did, and he had to work extra hard to get by Juha to get into 2nd place. So he may have expended more fuel than he wanted to in that situation. So he may be driving the fuel numbers. That's my personal theory. Watch it get blown apart by what happens.
Could be, but Juha too is running to a fuel number. And he's still gaining, so I think that's mainly tire things.
Well, we'll see. There's Jules going
but obviously,
by.
as you say, leveling out the fuel could also be a thing indeed.
True. But Rocha looking at a really excellent finish here if he can stay where he is in 4th.
Indeed.
And Amaral's now 5th. He's passed Coxon.
Just happened too, I think.
Okay, see if we can get that on camera. Yeah, there it is. Look at that, on the outside. He passes Coxon. That's a heck of a move. Wow, impressive. So with authority, Francisco Amaral takes his number 6 Nelson Piquet Williams up to 5th place, but Coxon's staying right there. He's not going away.
4 seconds to gap now for the lead.
Wow.
Steadily coming down.
You can't quite see Bouchard in the shot yet, I don't think. Let's see. Yes, you can, just briefly.
Can at least hear him. I didn't quite see him. Now I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can just barely see him in the next corner.
Yeah, the fact that you can now see him, that is a big thing.
Yeah, if you can see the car in front of you, that's a huge inducement. There he is. You just briefly saw him ahead of Juha. Juha driving a great race. His home
Indeed.
Grand Prix. Wouldn't it be amazing? Okay, downshifting now for the bus stop. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, it's fine. He's really put in the time for this. So he definitely deserves a good race.
You know, it's funny you say that.
And balls with the fastest lap of the race too, this lap.
You know, it's funny you say that because in his pre-race comments he said that he hadn't practiced enough.
Well, that may be, but having a good setup and confidence in the car, that does a lot for you.
He just goes through Eau Rouge like a boss. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that word pun.
Ooh.
Sorry. Anyway, David Saber in 3rd place too. Great result for him if he can keep going. That would be his
Boss
best race
Boss
since
will
Rio.
catch him. At this rate, Boss will catch Bouchard with a lap or lap and a half to go, I think.
The Tifosi going absolutely berserk right now, willing on Juha Boss. Will he be able to win his home Grand Prix and break the string of victories by Bouchard? Certainly looking like a possibility right now. KO is as usual, he's having fun in the chat. He's a one-man Amaral cheering section, but he's also throwing in dad jokes here and there. My goodness! So we're looking to have a very exciting finish to this race. In the number 27 Ferrari, driven by the late Michele Alboreto. Jonathan, have you had a chance to watch the IndyCar opener at St. Petersburg?
I've seen the short of it, the highlights.
Oh, well, then you know what happened in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's that's one that we're going to be talking about for a while. But
Ooh.
anyway,
Taking a
so
lot of curbing there.
yeah,
But
Boss
yeah,
has gotta,
we'll definitely be talking about that one. For sure.
Boss has got to be careful not to take too much curb. 2.6 seconds now, so even with Boss making that slight miscue, he's catching. 41 laps. This is the 41st lap right now, so we have this one, the next one, and then the last one to go. And at this rate, it's looking like Boss may get one good clean shot at Bouchard before the race is over here. At the rate he's catching him.
And it'll all be a case of who has fuel to burn.
True.
Come the very end.
Absolutely.
Based on the fact that you did the fastest lap, I wonder if he has fuel to burn by now.
I think Juha would get the award for good planning here, because he definitely looks like he can drive at a faster. We know he's driving faster than Bouchard, but Bouchard earlier
a little
was
bit squirrely there.
Yeah, a little bit, but 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, I'll have about a lap and a half of opportunity to pass him, I think.
Yeah. Saber still running in third. Rocha is in fourth. Amaral in a fantastic drive is in fifth. Coxon in sixth. Tim Hilla in seventh. Nilsson eighth. John Team in a great recovery drive is in ninth. And then Drexler is in 10th in a Tyrrell, and that would be the best result by a Tyrrell this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
If he's able to hold on. 11th is Centorami.
Oh,
my
you
goodness!
missed
No,
the chicane.
Boss! Oh no! Boss runs over the curb at the chicane. Goodness gracious sakes alive! And that is
2.1 the gap.
That could have just handed the win to Bouchard. We'll see what happens, but goodness, he was definitely trying hard there.
Yeah, he just barely snagged a break.
It's not over yet. 2 laps to go now as they head up the hill one more time.
Oh, no.
Careful.
He's gotten rattled now, I think.
Yeah, I think he needs to calm himself down.
He needs to, indeed. He should have the fuel. Oh, that looks like a... Oh, Bouchard working on the fuel, I think. He's struggling with fuel here, because that was a lot of pace that Boss just gained on him on the straight.
It's still 2.1. We haven't hit the timing beacon yet for the sector.
Yeah, no, it's 2 corners from here. This one and the next one, and then there's the timing beacon. But that looks a lot closer than what it was.
It certainly is. Yeah, Bouchard may be in some fuel difficulty here. 1.4, yeah. So even with that problem that Juha just experienced at bus stop, he is gaining right through Puhan. Oh my goodness, he's right on the ragged edge. He wants this win bad. So bad he can taste it. Downshifting now for this right-left section, and now the very fast run up to Blanchimont.
And I think if Juha wins this, he'll need to find a new apartment, because If I know him right, he'll probably be a bit like Senna when he won his home race after 11 attempts.
Mark Whitman out of the race, fuel related. So there you go. It's and that probably was due to all the battles he was having.
Indeed.
Leading up to that. So I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. Now we are heading into the last lap of the race, and look at Juha pull on
Yeah, he's
Bouchard.
right up there.
He
If
does
he has
not-
some boost to work, he should use it this lap.
He does not make the same mistake this time. Heading into the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh, and a
And-
fastest lap from Juha.
Fastest lap from Juha.
2:04.5.
Incredible. So we're looking at a dynamite finish here. Juha in second place can see the leader right in front of him. It's his home Grand Prix. Heading through Eau Rouge for the last time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But look at how much Rocha is stretching out here.
Yeah, Bouchard had a lot of pace down the straight. I wonder if he was holding back just a little bit of fuel to have something to fight with, because that looked like a boost up.
This is what I love to see. Drivers just on the absolute limit. Letting it all hang out. He's probably going to get one shot at him here. He's going to have to make
Possibly.
it count.
Possibly. It depends on if Bouchard makes a tiny error or if Juha can find a really good lap here.
Yeah.
Because
Coming-
Bouchard is driving really well too on the used tires he has.
Yep. On board with Bouchard now looking back. You can see that red Ferrari closing in. Assuming
Looks
that...
like Bouchard was holding back something.
Because it's hard to do mental math when you're driving on the limit.
Indeed.
All right, that was Blanchimont. Well, unless something happens to Bouchard now, I think that he's got it. We'll see what happens here.
Oh no, Juha! I think Juha might be out of fuel.
Juha. No, he's
Yeah, he is. He's
out of fuel.
He's coughing. The engine is coughing.
Oh my goodness. Well, here
Well,
comes
he definitely
Bouchard.
gave it a red hot go.
He did absolutely give it all he could, but here once again, the checkered flag waves for Jules Bouchard, his 4th Grand Prix win in succession, and it comes at the Belgian Grand Prix. There is Juha coasting across the line to take 2nd place. I'm sure very disappointed, but still, that was a fantastic drive. 3rd, and yet to finish, is Saber. Another great smooth drive from him. So that'll keep Marlboro McLaren in a good spot in the Constructors' Championship. They're actually 2nd in the championship right now, so that'll give them 4 more points. Ray Riddall exited the race a while ago, so this is the only McLaren running right now. As we are joined by Juha Boss. Juha, you gave us a great show there towards the end, but just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately.
No, we ran out of fuel.
Yeah, we saw, but you gave it everything you had.
Maybe I should have switched to the super softs a lap or two earlier, but then again they were dead on the last lap, so I just ran out of fuel, about half a liter. But I tried, and fuel was quicker, so.
There's David Saber finishing in 3rd place, last podium position, and it looks like Rocha may be out of fuel. He's taking it very slowly here. Here comes Rocha in to take 4th place. 5th place at a much faster clip is Coxon. So 2 points for Benetton. And then here comes the other point for Benetton. Well, 3 points for Benetton. There's Tim Hilla coming through to take 6th place. So not a bad outing for the Benetton team. Amaral is out of fuel. Oh my goodness! He must be just kicking himself, because that was going to be a 5th place finish. He's trying to roll downhill, but it's not going to happen. So Amaral is going to finish in 7th place. Anders has already crossed the line in 8th. 9th for John Team. Great recovery drive for him. 10th, Mikael Drexler in the Tyrrell, the highest finish for a Tyrrell so far this year. 11th for Giovanni Centorami, Jolly Club AGS. 12th for Dave Miller. That's a great finish for the Minardi effort. 13th for Hedison Oliveira. He was the last car running. And that was pretty good considering that he just got that drive when Brian Janik said he wasn't going to be able to race. Out of the race in 14th, it's Mark Whitman. The rest of these are DNFs. Grant Radal, Bruno, Gabriel Del Piccolo, Ray Radal, Cesarius Lipinski, Bruno Paggiola, Alan Santo, Jan Kowalski, K.O. McKeels, Oscar Team, Damir Karatko, and then Jonatan Åcerclinth. So, but an incredible race, but it ends in yet another win for Jules Bouchard, who's going to take a stranglehold in the championship fight, I'm sure. So it was a real situation of, Brabham had a great opportunity here to actually take it to Jules, particularly with Grant, but it just did not pan out. Engine failure in the end, but it was a combination of that and just the problems that Grant had at the front.
Indeed.
So looking at the next race, I mean, we got both Ferrari drivers in the booth here. Next race is Canada, and there are a lot of Italian fans in Canada, especially in Montreal, cheering on the Tifosi. So, the Tifosi cheering on you guys. So what do you think about Canada coming up?
Well, I'm not sure what to think of that one, really. It's...
Well, Jonathan's related to us that the problem there is going to be fuel and brakes.
It is, and that's not exactly our strong point, so we'll have to do more fuel saving there. Which I've proven today it was not what we're good at. No, maybe we can do something. The straights are shorter, so we're less penalised by not having a Renault engine. We can do something there. Well, we'll have to test a bit more, obviously, but at least we showed today that one car was there. So I'll do my best.
Well, it'll be an interesting race to watch. It's a challenging circuit, and there's not a lot of margin for error there. It runs practically like a street circuit because the barriers are so close. So it's going to be a challenge definitely for everybody involved. But that's in 2 weeks' time, April 2nd. CEST. We're going into European summertime starting next Sunday, where we will be running the Pro Cars once again, round 6 of 9 at the Oostenrijk Ring. That's going to be great. It's a great circuit for these cars. It should be a lot of fun. And that starts.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. Thanks for dropping into the booth, Juha, and Jonathan. My sincere thanks for coming in here and helping us out, because you're obviously not at your best. You're not feeling very well, but we really appreciate your help. It added to the broadcast immensely. Thank you very much.
Thank you yourself.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up here for us from Spa-Francorchamps. So for myself and Jonathan and Juha, this is Jason White saying so long. We'll see you next time. Everybody take care and be safe.